Welcome to part 1 of building a Partscaster with essentially no experience working on guitars. Today I just want to go over the main parts I'll be using, some of the issues I've encountered during test fitting, and we'll fix one of them as well. So for the body, we've got a Squire Affinity Strat body, purchased from Stratosphere off of eBay. Looks pretty darn good in graffiti yellow, if you ask me. I decided to go with a loaded pick guard, just because of my limited experience with soldering and wiring in general. This one came from Guitar Fetish. It's their Alnico 5 setup. I know nothing about soldering, so I'll be figuring that out as I go. The tuning machines also come from Guitar Fetish. They're the XGP, just regular Goto style machines with the vintage style buttons. The neck I got from eBay, came from China. It's supposed to be a roasted maple neck with abalone inlays, but you get what you pay for. This thing is, maybe roasted to some degree, but it's totally covered in orange lacquer, including the inlays, so they're very hard to see. I took this up with the seller, but in the end I decided it works really good on the build in terms of at least the color, and if I had to replace it down the line with something a little bit more high quality, I got no problem with that. It's got blue tape on it just because I was testing some fret files that I bought from Philadelphia Luthier. I didn't do too much. I just kind of took the fret end dressing file and tried to clean it up a little bit. I don't know, but maybe you do, so let me know. So I noticed a few things when I was test fitting. First thing is that the holes here don't perfectly line up with what's drilled on the body, which is pretty common apparently, but it fits the neck grout pretty exactly, which is a huge plus. So I'll maybe have to drill a couple holes, maybe here or here, depending on just how it will actually fit together. The second thing I noticed was with the neck grout, the shape here of the neck grout is a little bit more curved than on the neck heel. So when you place it in the body, there's just a little bit of a gap. Everything else about it fits pretty darn perfectly. But if I take my straight edge here, this is just a Blick roller, nothing special, and we'll use 16ths. So measuring from the 12th fret to the saddles, you can see I have them set just at about 12.75, which will get me the correct intonation, but the saddles are just about to the ends of the threads on their screws. So I'm still not sure if I want to, route out the neck a little bit extra or just live with the gap that's there. I've also replaced a jack plate here. This is the original one. I've replaced it with a black one. However, I do want to take this jack and replace it with the very cheap one that came with the black jack plate, just because it looks a little bit higher quality and it will probably hold up a little better. I also plan eventually to replace the bridge with the same exact 2-point style in all black, just to match the aesthetic a little bit better. The other issue that I need to correct is with the peg holes in the headstock. They're drilled to 10mm, but then lacquered over. They're going to need to be reamed out a little bit. Conventional wisdom would say to use a Peghole Reamer, but I don't have one of those, and I've already spent enough on guitar tools as well. So what I'm going to do is use this 10mm drill bit and slowly work out a little bit of extra material from each hole. I've already done that with the first one. It's still a little tight, could use a little bit more work. But that's what I'm going to fix today, and hopefully get all of these machine heads at least placed. I don't know if I'm going to end up drilling them today or not, but soon they'll all be screwed in. I'm not going to show this whole process, but the name of the game here is slow and steady. You just want to dig out a little bit of material evenly from around the sides of the hole, and to try to be as even as possible. Be incremental and slow and test fit as you go. And another thing that I found helped with this first hole here is to go from both sides back and forth. Just as a quick note, I went and grabbed a glove because as I'm spinning the drill bit, it started to dig into my thumb and index finger just a little bit. But I made progress. It seems like these three are pretty good fit, and I'm working on hole 4 right now. Alright, I finished up that job. It took me a little bit. I didn't do perfectly. As you can see, there's a couple nicks in the lacquer. Here and here is pretty bad. But those will all be covered by the hardware anyways. To finish up this job quickly, I'm going to take some 220 grit sandpaper and wrap it around the next smallest drill bit that I have, which is 5/16. And I'm just going to finish off these holes a little bit so that I'll make sure that the machine heads fit. My next step, I'm not sure if it's totally necessary, but it's something that I think that could help a little bit. So I'm going to take a Q-tip and get a little bit of this candle wax on it. And just rub the inside of these peg holes here to lubricate them just a little bit. Hopefully make the machine heads fit a little bit easier into the peg holes. And then I'll use the dry side here to rub out any excess. Cool, now it's time to fit these machine heads and find a way to line them up straight before drilling. Now all the machine heads are sitting pretty flush. Screwing them down will, get them the last little millimeter. And also putting the hardware on the front will help clamp them down. Fit the rest of the hardware pretty loosely here so that I can work on the straightness of the tuning pegs before anything more permanent gets done. My best idea for this was to coat the same Blick ruler that I used earlier with a layer of painter's tape to protect both the finish and the metal of the tuning machines, and use that to get a straight edge. So let's try that out and see how it works. This looks pretty close to my eye, but maybe the first and the sixth need to be moved just a little bit more. Alright, that looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this hardware. Here's where I realized I should have got one of those V-shaped wrenches that every luthier or guitar tech seems to have. It would have made it a lot easier to get this tighter because none of my 3/8 wrenches seem to perfectly fit. That'll about do it for this one. Next time, I'll be drilling some holes, both for the machine heads and hopefully for the neck heel, if we can figure that out. Stay tuned.